or you're watching live. I want to introduce to you those who have joined me today. I have our president of our Board of Education, Ms. Cheryl Logan, and I have our Director of Operations, Mr. Fabian Armendariz. Judging from the very active discussions that have taken place in the last 2 hours, it is clear to me that Wichita Public Schools are hugely important to our community and serve not only a vital educational role, but also an important role in the daily lives of our families. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly's announcement today that Kansas schools would be closed for school as we know it through May the 31st has implications that reach far beyond Kansas classrooms. I will address several of those implications in a moment, but first I want to share an important point that has not been covered carefully as part of this announcement. The governor's executive order today means that the remainder of the school year will not occur in a traditional school environment that brings large numbers of students and staff together in one location. However, work for our employees and learning for our students will continue. Let me emphasize again, our students are not done learning yet. Kansas districts have been directed by State Education Commissioner Randy Watkins to develop continuous learning plans. Exactly what does that look like for our students or our staffs is yet to be determined. However, it is vitally important that our community hears that while work and learning will look different, work and learning will continue to occur. We know that next week we will be planning as we will begin to engage our educational leaders in discussions about our continuous learning plans. There will be no delivery of any type of instruction to students prior to Monday, March the 30th. I also want to reassure our employees that district employees will be paid during this time period. As I noted above, work and learning will look different, but it still will occur. We will do our best to take full advantage of the time we have while ensuring safe working conditions and proper social distancing to ensure our staff in professional learning and creative delivery of an educational content will be delivered to our students. Staff will be paid on time and can be rest assured that they will remain important members of the WPS family. One other thing I want to address before I ask Mr. Armendariz to address our student meal plan, pertain events, spring events, and athletics. The governor's order means that all of our spring events and athletic activities will be canceled. This includes proms as well as our high school graduation ceremonies. Please hear me. This does not mean our students won't graduate. They will. And our Board of Education and high school leaders will be working through these details and decisions quickly. As we plan for the future, we will talk about how we will celebrate the accomplishments of our graduates in an appropriate manner. I will offer several concluding comments in just a moment. But before I do, I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Fabian Armendariz, our Division Director of Operations. Mr. Armendariz oversees our student nutrition operation and will share some additional details with you regarding our plans to provide food to Wichita students beginning next week. Mr. Armendariz, would you please come forward?
Thank you, Dr. Thompson. Good evening. With Governor Kelly's announcement about schools today, we understand food insecurity and feeding students is a great concern in our community. As part of the state's plan, districts are able to submit a waiver that will allow us to operate food service much like we do during the summer. We have been in contact with the state's Department of Child Nutrition and Wellness and are working on finalizing our list of sites to submit to them for approval. Our goal is to offer grab-and-go style meals to Wichita area children ages 0 to 18 free of charge beginning on Wednesday, March 25th. Children will not need to be enrolled in the Wichita Public Schools in order to receive meals. A complete list of sites as well as instructions for families will be released on Monday, March 23rd. Additionally, we have been in discussions with local area partners that are interested in filling in gaps in feeding Wichita kids. We will continue to talk to them in the hopes that they will be able to support and fill in gaps in our ability to provide service. Our goal will be to provide additional information about this in the days to come.
In closing, I want to talk directly to our WPS proud community. I know this is a time of great uncertainty for you, and I know that this will create social and emotional strains on our students. In fact, this afternoon, I've seen many of our teachers on social media expressing regret that they didn't get the chance to see their students one last time before the year was over. For children accustomed to the routine of the school day, this will be a difficult change. And I know that, and I will tell you that we are going to do all possible to recognize and address the stressors that change creates. I also want to say thank you to the generous community that started messaging me the moment that this news came out this afternoon. We are so fortunate to be part of an amazing and supportive community which recognizes the vital impact that public education has on our community. Many people stand ready to support our kids in any way possible, and in the coming days, I look forward to sharing ideas about how that can happen. And at this time, I am pleased to answer any questions that you may have.
Suzanne Tobias with the Wichita Eagle. You say learning is going to look different. A lot of people are assuming that's going to be online in some way. Can you address how it's going to look different? I know you're still in the planning stages, but how will it look?
It will be a variety of ways. Online could be one vehicle in which we would do that, but as you know, and we all know, that might not be the best mode for all of our students to be able to receive the instruction. So we will consider all modes of ways to communicate and educate our students.
What would happen if someone didn't have access to technology? Maybe they're a senior getting close to graduation.
Again, those are details that we would need to work out with our state to make sure that we are in alignment with what we need to do in order to ensure that those credits will count and kids will be able to graduate. But again, it could be a variety of ways in which we could do that.
How do you plan to accommodate, or how can you accommodate? What are the options available when it comes to college application processes? Any scholarships that may be offered by the schools at this point? I mean, this is a lot to undertake in a short amount of time.
Absolutely. And we will be working with our seniors a little bit differently than we would work with the rest of the students in our school district, because we want to make sure that we are guiding students in the correct manner. Students already have been filling out FAFSA forms and filling out scholarship applications. Those things, a lot of those things are already complete. As kids are already receiving scholarships as we speak. So again, we would take that and make sure that our students are getting the support that they continue to need to be able to get those scholarships and be able to move on to the next level.
Following up on that, I mean, obviously you still have ACT testings and things like that. Has the state said anything about continuing that testing in a different manner?
As we speak, they are working with our federal government and other entities to ensure that those things are addressed.
Is transportation going to be still available to students to get to these meal sites or used in any way?
Those are things that we will continue to work out as we move forward. We will start our program on next Wednesday, and we will continue to work on the details for that.
As we know, a lot of businesses are telling employees not to show up, to work from home, different things like that. There's been a lot of layoffs in the service industry. But what about those parents who do have to work through this period? What are they supposed to do with kids having to stay home?
What we will be doing is gathering all of those resources that are available to our families and being able to post all of those things on our website. So parents should pay close attention so that as we begin to receive resources and things that are available to our families, that they can find those things on our website.
You spoke about employees being paid. Does that include bus drivers that are in two separate companies? The people who provide the transportation, are they still getting paid?
What I will say today is that all our district employees will continue to be paid.
Did you say you had to be a student to get a meal, Mr. Armendariz?
You do not have to be just within those age ranges.
Okay.
The district employees includes paras and hourly workers.
It does.
Okay.
District employees.
What about education for special needs students?
All of our students will get educated. We do not leave any of them out. So that's what we will be working out, all of the details of what all of that means, and we will be able to communicate that with our families.
How much of a heads up did you get from the state on this before that announcement was made this afternoon?
We did visit with them earlier this morning.
And had you had some kind of an inkling this was coming before then? I mean, had the theories started to be developed a few days ago when we started to see this happen in other states?
We were told earlier this afternoon.
How prepared do you think the district is for something like this?
Well, this is something that's new to us. However, educating students is not new to the Wichita Public Schools. So we know how to do that, and we know how to do that well. And we will ensure, again, that all of our students continue to receive quality education during this period.
I guess, have you been in contact with other schools from other states that have had to start similar operations and kind of ask them kind of how they're going about stuff and how they're operating on a day-to-day basis?
We are members of the Council of Great City Schools, and those are some of the school districts across the country, and we are in contact with our sister schools, and we are gathering information and ideas all across the country. Most school districts are engaged.
Do you agree with this decision? Do you think this is the best path forward?
In the Wichita Public Schools, we just continue to educate kids, whatever mode that we have to deliver the instruction, we're willing to do that.
What's your biggest concern moving forward about all of this? We've never been down this before.
Well, making sure that our kids get a quality education and making sure that we have the infrastructure to be able to do that, and we will be solid and ready to go next week.
You know, every time there's any sort of emergency, we get reminders from the district to have contact information updated and things like that. Is that something that your staff is working on even now? I mean, that you can even contact parents?
Absolutely. Again, we'll continue to put that on our website, social media, and we'll hopefully word of mouth. Our schools will be having some form of communication with their parents, and we'll continue to get those things updated so that we can have the best information to communicate with our families.
Hopefully this doesn't last too long, but are you prepared to maybe start the next school year off that way in the same manner?
We will be prepared to do whatever we are asked to do from here until we are ready to return back to school.
Who are you looking to for advice at this point? Are you talking with other superintendents at other districts that are facing the same closures, comparing notes? I mean, how are you going about this?
Yes, the educational community is very collaborative. That's what we do. And I know our board members are here, and they will, again, as always, take the lead, and they are awesome, and they are communicating with their peers as well. And together, as a country, as a state, as a city, we will make good things happen for kids, and we will do what we can do.
Can you provide, what are some alternatives you're considering for students who don't have internet access?
At this time, we will continue to wait to hear from our officials on how they would like us to proceed with those types of things.
Which officials?
We're talking about our state officials from our state Department of Ed. There's a special team, as he stated before in his press conference, that are working on all of those details. And once we have those details, we will continue to work with our local folks and our school board on how to make that happen for all of our kids, if that's the desire of where we would go with the instruction.
Are you communicating with teachers then? Everyone's on spring break supposedly now, but are you communicating that with them already this week about preparations?
Absolutely. We've communicated with them as of today.
I guess what sort of resources do you have for counseling or maybe mental health support for students who may have anxiety about this whole situation?
Absolutely. Well, again, those are the directions that we will be receiving from our commissioner and the task force that has been put together to give us direction on how we move forward with those plans.
And are you assuming that the minimum hours and days required for each academic year is going to be waived, or do you have to petition for that?
We do have to petition for that. However, I do know that today our legislators and our State Board of Education members were all working to solidify those plans to communicate to us how we were to request those.
Are you waiting for state guidance also on when students can come and get their things?
Absolutely, yes, we are. We will be working on a plan once we get some specific details, and we'll meet again tomorrow. We will then be able to communicate again further. We will communicate with our families and our communities on Friday. So we'll have another communication on Friday to give more specific details.
Do you know yet whether students will be able to use district technology at home, things like iPads and laptops that they might be able to use in the classroom now but not usually take home?
Those are things that we will continue to work through, but we do have resources available for our students.
As such a large district in the state, do you feel any extra obligation to be a part of the conversation for developing this plan statewide?
If I understand your question correctly, I do work with many superintendents around the area, and we do collaborate together. And as a matter of fact, we were on the phone soon before we came here, and we'll continue to do that. We don't just educate Wichita kids. We actually are partners with all of our state schools, and we want to all support each other to educate our students.
What's your message to parents right now, how they can help through this process?
Our parents, I'm sorry, they were telling me to look this way. Advice that we could give to our parents would be to continue to follow on social media, continue to make sure we have your correct information that we need to be able to communicate with you on what's next, and then to also just start making plans to create those spaces in your homes where the students can have opportunities to be able to continue on with their learning, the continuous learning plans. And we'll tell you what all that means, but if you could just start getting things prepared at home and making sure that you have communication with us and we have communication with you, you'll be all good to go, and we'll be ready to get started as soon as we can.
I guess since how prom will be canceled and stuff like that and graduation, will there be a chance for a future event for those to take place, or how will that, since those are kind of big events for children?
Yes, we know that, and we are working very diligently to try to figure out what those opportunities can be, but we are talking about what other opportunities can we provide for our students for their for graduation and other important events.
Do you have an estimate on what percentage of your students do not have internet access at home?
I am not sure. We are looking into that, and there are some surveys and things that I know that the state has been looking at, and as part of some of the work that we will need to do so that we can ensure that we have the correct number and who needs what. And we'll be working very closely with our tech team in our district as well as the state team on that information.
Any other questions?
Thank you for coming, and we are going to, I don't know if we have any other, is that it? Okay, well, thank you very much for being here.